Yo, what's up, friends? It's Dave. It's Wednesday, June 21st, almost 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Hey, wherever you happen to be watching this, I'm on Facebook and I don't know, 2 or 3 places over on YouTube. Say hello in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from, all that good stuff. By the way, if you haven't checked these two things out, my podcast, Unleash the Awesome, you might want to go subscribe to that. Check it out. And if you want to learn how to unleash your awesome online through building your email list, digital marketing, stuff like that, I have a Facebook group called Digital Marketing Mentorship. There's like 4,000 people in there or something like that. Some are close to it. We can help you get those things started as well. But today I want to talk to you about a mindset thing that I think holds a lot of people up. And it's this idea of perfectionism. And most adults have this fear of being seen starting small, right? They're just people, for whatever reason, I guess, once you have a image to protect, right? Like I have a job, I have a career, I'm successful, whatever the case may be. Once you have that, you have this thing inside you that wants to protect it. And so anytime you want to do something new and put it out to the marketplace, oftentimes you don't want to share it with the world until it's done, until it's perfect. And as a recovering perfectionist myself, I know this, right? So you want to get it perfect. And so you polish it and you do some more stuff, and you just never release it out to the world. You never put it out there. You never write that book, or you never turn on a camera and do a Facebook Live or a YouTube stream or whatever. Like, you won't do any of that because you're afraid of being seen starting small. Most adults just will not suck at something or be willing to suck at something long enough to actually get good at it. Period. That's it. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. And if you can't get that part right, the rest of it doesn't matter. Like, I often teach this thing about, if you want to be successful, you need to have mindset, skill set, tool set, right? It doesn't matter if you have the right skill set. It doesn't matter if you have the right tools and tool set. If your mindset's not right, you'll never do it. You could have the best software in the world. You could have the best camera, video camera, lights, microphone, whatever in the world. You will not put your thing out to the world if you don't make this one subtle shift. And this is it. Ready? Instead of being worried about being seen as arriving, right? I've arrived, I'm here, I'm successful, I have a successful best-selling book, I have a successful course online, I am a successful keynote speaker, I have whatever. Instead of worrying about arriving, why don't you show the world how you are striving? Okay, focus on striving instead of arriving, because people really will buy into the idea of you starting something new, you trying something, you building something from scratch. People love that story. And it just has built-in social media posts there for you, right? Just document your process. Hey, you know what? I'm thinking about doing this thing, and I just started, and here are some of the struggles I'm running into, or here are some of the challenges, or here's what's going on. And I'm really excited to launch this out to the world. And by the way, this is also good for accountability. You're like, hey, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to have it out in the world by, October of this year, whatever. And here's the process, and here's how I'm getting started. Here's how I'm thinking about doing it. Here's how I'm organizing my thoughts. This is the software that I'm using to do that. This is what I lost sleep over last night. This is the problem that I just had. This is a $1,000 mistake I just made. Here's a success that just happened. Here's whatever, right? Just share the process, document the process. So along the way, you're building your audience. You could be building your email list too, by the way. You could be doing all these things and documenting the process through a podcast or Facebook Lives, Facebook groups, whatever. And that way your focus is more on a growth mindset, as Carol Dweck talks about, but it's more on the striving versus arriving, right? So you don't have to show up and be all perfect and be like, look at me, I have this thing, I'm cool, I'm great, buy my stuff, right? You probably won't. If you're honest, you'll realize that. But most people won't say, like, that's what they're worried about. That's what they're afraid of. They're worried about being seen starting small, or being seen sucking at something long enough to get good at it. But that's really what it is. That's what perfectionism is. And perfectionism is just the most insidious form of procrastination, because you'll never launch that thing out to the world. As Seth Godin said to me one time, you cannot improve something that doesn't exist. So just start getting it out there. Get some, iterate it. If you're launching a membership group or something like that, my friend Stu McLaren teaches this idea of a founding members launch. Just get it kind of like 80% there, get a small group of people, serve those people, and then you have a paid, essentially, market research group. You're working with these people, you're learning some things, you're learning what their challenges are. You probably know some of them, but you're learning some more through real feedback, real interaction with them, and then you can iterate and launch it again or do it again. My friend Amy Porterfield, when it comes to launching courses, she talks about, launching all these things. And then if you were to launch like a $2,000 online course, something like that, usually those are priced about $2,000 or more. She calls that your signature course, right? But she says you don't start with a signature course. You start with a spotlight course or some of these other things that she has that are smaller pieces. My friend Ryan Levesque wrote the books Ask and Choose and has a whole bunch of other things. He talks about having like a starter business, right? Like something small, get something going to learn some of the stuff. You'll hear me talk about building a lemonade stand. So when I'm teaching people how to use tools online, right? A lot of the hang up for them is if I'm teaching them how to use like one of my favorite programs is Kajabi, where you can host your courses. I'll make sure wherever you happen to be watching this, my affiliate link is in the comments or the description. But if they're learning how to use Kajabi, right, and they want to put their first course online, a lot of times they get stuck because they're worried about getting the logo just right or spacing the fonts out or like just dumb stuff that really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. You can make it pretty later, right? But I'll say to them, why don't you just build a lemonade stand? Why don't you just build a fake course? Why don't you just build a course about some hobby that you have? Why don't you build a course about, I don't know, why don't you build a landing page for your church or whatever organizations you volunteer for? Work on something that is not as high risk, that doesn't matter as much to you, to learn how to use the tool. And then once you get that figured out, you're like, oh, okay, then you can put your thing on top of it. But what happens is people, again, are not willing to be seen starting small, or they're not willing to suck at something long enough to be good at it. So now they're sucking at trying to get their message out to the world because they've never done that. So they've never tried to articulate that. They're sucking at using the software or the social media thing or their microphone or their lights. So they're sucking at all of these things. No wonder you don't want to be seen in that situation. That is highly vulnerable. If you're thinking about just, oh, I'm arrived, I'm perfect, I'm great, I have an image to protect, all right? But if you just flip it, if you stop worrying about arriving and you start talking about striving, I'm striving to do this. I started this thing. I'm going to launch this thing. I'm going to launch a podcast. That's how my damn podcast got started, actually. I literally, for years, was like, I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if I see the value in it. And I was like, I see the value in it. I've been doing video for years. So just doing audio was simple. I knew how to do it. I had the skill set and the tool set. It was the mindset. And literally somebody just said to me, hey, when are you going to launch your podcast? I was at an event after a glass of wine or two, maybe. And I was at this conference and they said, when are you going to launch your podcast? And I was like, I don't know. And they said, well, that's not a date on the calendar. And I was like, and like, I was worried about getting it all right, getting it perfect and getting some good cover art and blah, 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 blah. And this was like on a Monday, I think. And I said, Thursday, my podcast I'll start my podcast on Thursday. And guess what happened? I came home and I had to figure out how to get my freaking podcast started. And guess what? I did. And I went over on Fiverr and I got somebody to do this logo and I bought some intro music on Pond 5. There's a bunch of other ones you could use, but I bought a track. And then I went on Fiverr and I asked some guy to do the voiceover intro and the outro. And then I recorded my first episode and I put it out there. And now I have, I don't know, 115 or something episodes. I don't even know. Right? And I don't do them as regularly, maybe as I should, but they're out there. And instead of worrying about being perfect, I just started. And if I go back and listen to the first one, I'm like, oh my God, that sucks so bad, which is great because that means I'm growing. So the first thing you're going to do is literally going to suck. Thanks for all the comments, by the way. I can't see all of them or recognize all of you because they're coming in from YouTube and Facebook and everything else, but thank you. I see the words of encouragement and support. Listen, the first thing you're going to do, your first attempt at anything is not going to be great, right? It's going to be the best you can do. I'm not saying that you should suck intentionally. Don't purposely try to make it awful. Do the best you could do. But if you're comparing it to other people in the marketplace, which is also a trap, it's just, you're going to struggle with it. If you are not accustomed to doing what I would consider extemporaneous speaking, which is what this is. I don't have a teleprompter. I don't have any notes. I literally was just thinking about this the other day and I said, I should probably tell my audience about this. And maybe I thought about it in the shower while I was laying in bed or something, like just some ideas kind of came to me and I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about this. And so I'm doing it. And so I've done this for a really long time. And what you're probably not hearing are ums and uhs and a lot of other filler words. And I'm probably making some sense. I'm probably making some points. I mean, people are saying as much in the comments, but I didn't start like that. And I could still get way better. Like when I started, I was like, hey, hello. Like how many of you have like tried to do a podcast or a Facebook Live or a video recording and you're like, um, hi, my name's Dave. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, that's bad. Let me start over. Hello. Hi. Oh, no, that's no good. Hello or hi? Okay, wait, hold on. Greetings. My name is David. Oh, no, that's too formal. Right? How many of you have done that? All of you. Back in the day, we used to have voicemails that people would actually leave you, right? How many of you recorded multiple voicemail greetings? Hey, this is Dave. No, I don't like that. Hello, this is Dave. Oh, thank you for your call. Oh, no, let me start over. All right? All of us have been through that in some way, shape, or form. That's what happens with this stuff. Yeah, and somebody mentioned Toastmasters in the comments. Yeah, that's extemporaneous speaking, table topics. You can certainly learn that in Toastmasters, right? But you can also learn that stuff just by doing it and caring enough to get better, okay? So you probably all heard my framework: suck first, suck less, success, okay? If you just flip the script to this idea of, okay, it's gonna not be the best, but I'm gonna put it out there, and I'm gonna put it out there under the banner of I am striving. I'm launching this thing. I'm working on this thing. I'm working on a new version of me. I'm working on writing a book. I'm working on starting a podcast. I'm working on creating a community in a Facebook group. I'm working on creating a course. I'm doing whatever. Here we go. Here's some behind the scenes, right? And that way you don't even have to create any extra social media content or whatever. You just literally document the process. There are apps like, well, what I'm using, Ecamm Live, but there's apps like Loom and Scribe and Tango. So Loom can record your screen while you're doing something, and Scribe and Tango can do like screenshots of those steps. So like if you're doing something technical online and you want to like share with your audience, you're like, hey, I'm learning how to use Trello, or I'm learning how to use Notion, or I'm learning how to use Kajabi or ClickFunnels, whatever. You can just run that in the background, and that could become social media stuff for you. That could be a video that you could post on YouTube. That could be something that you could put in your Facebook group. That could be like so many things you could be doing. And literally you were just documenting the process of striving, not arriving. Because honestly, if you're on the path to mastery, you are never going to arrive. It's never going to be perfect. Just get that out of your head right now. I know it's tough. Trust me, as I am a recovering perfectionist myself. I've been there. I get it. You just want to get it just right. You just want to tweak it. You just want to put it out there. You just want to get your Pantone colors right. Blah, 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 blah. Listen, y'all, I'm colorblind. So my logos probably look awful. I don't even know because I can't really tell because I have red-green color blindness. But I don't know. They look great to me, so I just put them out there. Are they perfect? No. But I'm just doing it. Because here's the deal, right? I think you have to put that perfectionism and all those other things, especially if you have a message to share with the world, which I believe you all do. And I believe if you're watching me or you follow me, you feel called to share some message with the world, whether it's leadership or showing people how to unleash their awesome or whatever it is. You have to make that perfectionism subservient to the need to bring your message to your audience. And you also have to make that perfectionism subservient to the needs to serve your family. Like, are you letting your insecurities get in the way of providing a really awesome financial future for you and your family? If you're honest, the answer is probably yes. I still do it too because there's a devil at every level. So as I try to up level and do things at another thing, I still have to tell myself, okay, it's not about arriving, it's striving, right? I'm working on a new project now. I'm not ready to really talk about it. I will eventually. But even in that process, I'm like, oh, I just get it just right. No, I don't like that. No, it's not perfect. I'm like, dude, just freaking do it. JFDI, right? Although the F doesn't usually stand for freaking. I edited there a little bit, right? But just freaking do it. Just put it out there. And I have to remind myself, right? We've all been there too. Like sometimes we don't take our own best advice. So like that's kind of conversation I've been having with myself the last couple of days. I'm like, dude, why don't you just take your own advice and freaking worry more about striving than arriving? Let's go. Let's get that thing out there. Let's put this perfectionism aside, right? So I still have moments where I struggle with it. But I think if you just flip that script for you, okay, just think about flipping that script. If you're concerned about being seen starting small, if you're concerned about sucking long enough to get good at something, just realize that is all part of the process and just establish yourself out in the marketplace as I'm working on this new thing. People will get on board with that, right? They'll rally around you. When I launched my podcast, people were like, oh my gosh, a podcast? That's great. That's really cool. I can't wait to hear the cool stuff you have to share with the world. Yeah, I'll subscribe. Yeah, I'll listen. Yeah, I'll check it out. Yeah, I'll write a review. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. People care. I have no idea they cared. Here's the other thing I'll tell you before I go. The other thing you might be worried about is I keep mentioning this thing about being seen starting small. For a lot of you, no one's going to see your first things anyway. Your first Facebook Live, your first podcast episode. Like, they're not going to hear it or watch it. You're not going to have a huge audience. There'll be a handful of people who already know, like, and trust you anyway. But the trick in all of this stuff is playing the game long enough. It's the long game to get discovered. Right? So many people will start and quit, start and quit, start and quit. All of this stuff, writing a book, doing a podcast, doing Facebook Live, start and quit, 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 start and quit. You just have to be the person that stops stopping. You just have to be the person that stops quitting. You have to be the person that just starts and keeps going. You can take a rest along the way. My podcast episode, for a while, I was doing 2 episodes a week. Then I was doing an episode a week. Then I didn't do some episodes for a while. Then I was back to like 2 a week. And then I was like 1. And I probably haven't released an episode in over a month now. There'll be more coming. So go subscribe so you don't miss them. Because I have a really funny story to tell you about an event I was at a couple weeks ago. That will definitely be an upcoming podcast episode about sneaking up on a Navy SEAL in plain sight. Really funny story. The make your bed guy, Admiral McCraven. But all the stuff like I've created out in the marketplace, it's because I just decided to go. And I just made my fear and worries and perfectionism subservient to the need to serve you and subservient to the need to provide for my family, right? So many of you will say those things are important. My message matters. I want to share it with the world, and I want to take care of my family. Okay, then why aren't those the priority things that are making you put this thing out to the world? And I can tell you with a lot of certainty, it is this perfectionism piece. Okay? It's the perfectionism piece. You are worried about being seen starting small or being seen in the marketplace sucking at something, and then you're not willing to suck long enough to get good at it. If you can change that mindset to, hey, I'm trying, I'm out here striving, I'm not worried about being seen arriving, I'm striving. Here I am, I'm doing this thing. Let's go. I'm going to share my struggles. I'm going to share my successes. I'm going to share my wins. I'm going to share my learns. Let's go. Here we go. I'm doing this thing. Rock on. Okay. There's lots of YouTube channels that I watch of people that are doing stuff just like that. There's this guy who was a punter at Oklahoma, and he's trying out for the Miami Dolphins, and like watching his whole thing is like, he hasn't arrived, but it's fun watching. Like, I don't really care the first thing about punting. I mean, I love football, but like, really never studied the art of punting a football. I mean, I did it while I was in high school, but like, I didn't really care that much. Now I watch this dude's YouTube channel because I'm having fun. I'm getting enjoyment out of watching him on his journey, striving. I don't know if he'll arrive. I don't know if he'll make the final 53-man roster on an NFL football team. I don't know. But I sure am cheering him along the way and watching I don't watch a lot of stuff like that. I don't watch really any TV or series. And I watch a couple YouTube channels. I might subscribe to a couple, but like, that is one that I watch. Why? Because as human beings, we are emotionally invested in watching someone go on this process of striving. So give that to your audience. And that's a gift that you give to your audience, that it's also a gift you give to yourself, because you can lower the bar on that perfectionism thing and just freaking put it out to the world. Like right now, again, I'm doing this without a script, without a net, extemporaneously, whatever you want to say. And there's a lot of people that I'll talk to be like, well, what's the best teleprompter? And should I write my Facebook Live thing? Should I write the script in ChatGPT or Jasper or whatever? I'm kind of like, no, just go, be authentic, be real, as somebody said in the comments. That's what people want. Authenticity. They want real. They want to see you striving. So stop worrying about arriving. Just share with people how you're striving. Document the process. That will lower the bar for you. That will allow you to get things out to the world. That will allow you to share your message and make a huge impact. And I'm pretty confident that in the process of doing that, you'll be able to provide for your family in ways that you never imagined. But the 6 inches that you have to overcome The biggest fight that you have is right here. And you have to get over that idea of perfectionism or being seen as arriving and just flip it to striving. All right, hope that served you. Again, go check out my podcast, Unleash the Awesome. If you're watching here on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, please do that. And my Facebook group's called Digital Marketing Mentorship. See y'all later.